all the students, and again it is relevant for toppers as well, is that you have to create systems, and motivation is not going to help you survive. Who called you average in the first place, right? It's a labeling thing that you only have done, right? So nobody put that label on you that you are average. The question is, how much can you improve in the time that is available to you? My closing thoughts on this whole thing, right? Firstly, get rid of the average label. Hi students, in today's video we are going to address a question that many of you may have. Can an average student crack the test? And for that matter, it can be any other entrance test as well, whether you think of a CET, NMAT, SNAP, or any other test which is not even MBA entrance exam. So when you think of all of these tests, they have some fundamental skills that they're assessing. And a lot of times students, based on their past experiences that they have had with respect to competitive exams or in general college exams, they tend to label themselves in some way. So we're going to talk about this whole issue, that can an average student really do well on tests like these. So I hope this video will help you. So watch it till the end. So we'll first begin and primarily going to focus on the CAT, but as I said, you can sort of use the same principles for other exams that are out there. First is, a lot of it is about the story that you tell yourself, right? So whenever I have interacted with students who have come to me, and a lot of times people come before they start their CAT preparation, and the question that they typically ask is, I'm not very good at a particular subject. So they will say things like, I've always been bad at maths, right? So my past experiences have been terrible. I'm not good at math and things like that. Or they may say something like, my English isn't great. I struggle when it comes to reading, I can't focus, etc., etc. And people like me don't crack tests, right? So they have kind of accepted or created a reality that, okay, this is what things are and they are not going to change, right? So most aspirants tend to label themselves, and these labels can come from, say, things like what has happened to you in your school. So maybe in your school you didn't have great maths teacher, because of which you didn't understand the subject. Because you didn't understand the subject, your marks were not that great, and because your marks were not great, you have now decided to conclude that, okay, my math is bad. But understand that a lot of times we have experiences like these, because of which we are not interested in certain things. For example, if your maths teacher was not great, maybe you have not developed interest in mathematics. Or maybe because you didn't practice it enough, maybe the teacher was great, you didn't practice it enough, and that is why your score was not great. But because your score was not great or your learning experience was not great, does not mean that you are average when it comes to that particular subject or any other skill for that matter. Now, what happens because of this is it becomes like a self-fulfilling prophecy. Because you're not interested, or because you believe that, okay, I am average in a particular thing, you don't put in a lot of effort to get better. So you stop putting the effort, and eventually, because you are not putting effort, you are going to become that individual. So when I say that, okay, I'm bad at a particular thing, let's say, for example, let's take a musical instrument, right? Now, if I say that, okay, I'm not very good at playing this particular musical instrument, and because of that, I'm not practicing it enough, anyway, I'm not going to be a good musician, right? I'll not be able to play that instrument very well because I'm not practicing. But if I keep on practicing, at some point of time, I'm going to see growth and progress in the skill that I'm trying to improve on. So you're not average, right? You're not an average student. So stop calling yourself that. We get these questions a lot that, okay, I'm average, but who called you average in the first place, right? It's a labeling thing that you only have done, right? So nobody put that label on you that you are average. I would say you're undertrained in specific skills. So when you say that my maths is not good, I would say, have you done enough practice to come to that particular conclusion, right? Have you done enough number of questions? So a lot of times students come and say that I'm not very good at permutation and combination. But how did you conclude that? If you've just solved, let's say, 20-25 questions of permutation combination and you didn't find the questions interesting, and because of that you have concluded that I'm not good at this, then you are not on the right track. You have taken a limited sample to conclude, right? So that is why you should not be doing that. You have to accept that, okay, I'm not an average person or average when it comes to these skills. I can always get better. These are the things that I need to improve on, right? So there's a change in mindset that is required. So there is this thing called fixed mindset and growth mindset. People who have fixed mindset, they don't do anything, versus people with growth mindset, they know that, okay, this is where I'm currently and I can always get better, right? So that's the mindset shift that a lot of you will have to do. So let's understand fundamentally what CAT demands, right? So firstly, when you think of VRC as a section, what is it assessing? It is assessing your comprehension. Whether you think of RC as a question type or a summary or a para-jumble or para-completion or odd sentence out, ultimately all of that is just comprehension. So I have a question for you. Can you read and understand? If I give you a passage, right, or let's say some particular piece from an article, will you be able to read it and understand? As long as you're able to do that, you may not be completely skilled in it. So let's say there's a spectrum that we are assessing that skill from a scale of, let's say, 1 to 10. Maybe you are at 3 at this point of time, or maybe you're at 4 or 5. Somebody could be at 8 as well. So there is always a scope for improvement. And no matter where you stand on that particular spectrum, as long as you keep pushing yourself, you will get better. So whatever that average definition that you have created for yourself, you will be able to cross it. Second is DILR. Fundamentally, what is it? What is being checked in DILR section? It is the ability to think in a logical manner. Are you able to deconstruct what is given to you? It could be a data interpretation set in the form of, let's say, a bar graph or a pie chart, or it is, let's say, a logical reasoning caselets in terms of, okay, there are some number of people going to a particular place, traveling through different modes and stuff like that, right? So I'm just taking some basic examples, but fundamentally, can you deconstruct what is given to you in the form of a figure, or it could be a table, or it could be just some sentences. And finally, what is being tested in Quant? It's problem solving. And when you look at problem solving, can you solve things step by step? So do you know, let's say, what is the first step that you need to take to solve a problem? Or can you at least find the optimal path? So if maybe you don't know step-by-step solution, but now you can think of, let's say, the options. So you figure out that, okay, all the answer options that are given have a certain thing, but there's one particular which does not have that thing. So maybe that is the answer. So stuff like that. So can you do that? Now, when you think of it, and a lot of times I have had this discussion with students, especially when you teach them something like, let's say, geometry and stuff, right? So people come and say, when am I going to use this, right? I'm training to be a manager. So what's the point of all of this? I was at a center once and a funny thing happened. Some time speed distance problem they were solving. And suddenly this one of the students, and she was talking to another student, and they started saying, why do we need to do this? I mean, I always have my phone, I can check it. Why do we need to be good at calculation? I always will have my calculator on my phone with me. I can use that. Of course, you can do all of those things. But the point is, why CAT is testing all of this is because in real life as well, you will need these skills. So you're going to have comprehension when you're a manager. You need to have a logical thinking. You need to have problem solving skills to be a good manager or leader at some point of time. So you have to look at the test in that manner as to it's not just that knowledge that it is testing, but a skill that is being checked in that particular exam. So overall, I would say a lot of things, right? So it's just not this, but strategy. Do you know exactly how to manage yourself in this situation? Secondly, decision making, which questions to solve, which questions not to solve, what to do first, what to do later, and all of that. Handling uncertainty, because you don't know what exactly is going to happen, what the level of difficulty is going to be. Elimination of irrelevant options, right? So choosing out of, let's say, 2 or 3 close options, which is the one that is the most suitable, or eliminate the ones that are irrelevant. And then managing your emotions, which is very, very crucial. So a lot of times that entire average perception that is there, right? It's an emotional thing, right? So a lot of students tend to get very emotional about particular thing. But you have to understand that you have to manage your emotions as well during the test. And that's a skill. See, all of these things that I put in bold, right? What are these? These are trainable skills. You can always train people to manage their emotional skills also. I mean, there are sessions that happen for emotional quotient, right? Why? Because all of these things, whether it is your IQ or it is your EQ, everything is trainable. And you have to first accept that, and then only you'll be able to progress. Otherwise, it's not going to happen. Okay. Now, the question is not whether you can improve, because we have accepted that, of course, everybody can improve. Question is, how much can you improve in the time that is available to you? So you have to identify strong and not so strong areas. I'm not calling it weak areas because I don't like that particular word. I'm going to say strong and not so strong, because all of you will have some skill. It's not that you don't know how to read, right? All of you know how to read given a particular passage. It's just that you may not get all questions correct. Maybe you get one question correct or two questions correct, or maybe all four questions correct. Even if you don't get any question correct, maybe you understood 10-20% of the passage. It's just that you're not able to translate that into accuracy when it comes to answering questions. Similarly, quant, right? You might understand a problem, but you may not know at this point of time how to solve the problem exactly, or how to do it in, let's say, under 2 minutes or 3 minutes. Okay. Double down on your strengths. So first is to identify, okay, what is it that I'm good at? So for example, when I was a student, I knew even before I started my CAT preparation that I'm reasonably good at mathematics because of the experiences that I had in my school days. What I knew also was verbal was going to be a problem area, so I'll have to do a lot of effort there. Fix issues selectively. Now, you need not fix everything. See, to crack the CAT, right, you don't have to be exceptionally good at everything. So all 5 areas of quant, you don't have to know each and everything really well. Nobody is expecting you to do, say, everything. You need to do the basics across, so that just in case you get, let's say, easy questions from a particular area, you will still be able to handle them. But you will have to develop some really strong areas. In quant, for example, arithmetic has to be one of the strong areas that you have. You can't expect to do very well on the CAT if you decide to drop arithmetic. But can you drop, let's say, a particular topic? You can. But should you? The answer is not, because you still have 6 months in which you can improve. So the gap between average and the top is not much, right? It can always be reduced, but it is going to take time. So it's not that suddenly you'll be able to solve more number of questions, right? So think of it again, any life skill. Think running, for example, right? So let's say tomorrow you start running. You will not be able to do a sub 2-hour marathon, right? That's not going to happen. But can you improve your time, whatever you have right now? If you keep running for, let's say, the next 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, will you see some marginal improvement in your time? The answer is yes. So progress will always happen. The pace of the progress, however, depends. So how much effort are you putting in? What are the other variables in life, and so on and so forth. So how much can you improve in the available time? That is the question. And if you be strategic about it, I think anybody will be able to pick it up. Now we have 6 months at the time of recording this video. From now we have roughly 6 months before we take the CAT, right? So is that enough? My answer is yes. So there's massive improvement opportunity. If you look at 6 months, roughly 180 days, right? Even if you do, let's say, 20 questions a day, it is still going to convert you from somebody who is at a particular level right now to a better level, right? It's not going to be a regression that you will go back, that, okay, I was here, but now I've gone here, right? That's not going to happen. It's just that everything that you're doing will have incremental positive effort on your level. One very important thing for all the students, and again, it is relevant for toppers as well, is that you have to create systems, and motivation is not going to help you survive. Firstly, students who call themselves average, right? They don't have enough motivation to do a particular thing. And that happens because of that label. So the moment I say, okay, I'm average at maths, I will not be motivated to put in effort, because now I've decided that I'm average at math. But the moment I say that, hey, I can get better at maths, I mean, how complicated this could be. So if, let's say, I'm teaching somebody how to calculate square of a particular number, right? How complicated can it get? So can anybody and everybody learn it? The answer is yes. So it's not rocket science. But you'll have to create fixed study slots. So because that motivation itself is low, you cannot depend on that motivation to take you ahead. You will have to create fixed time slot. It definitely cannot be mood dependent, that today I feel like studying math, so I'll study math. Tomorrow I don't feel like studying it, so I'm not going to study it, right? That kind of approach is not going to work, especially if you are in that zone where you're calling yourself average. The mock analysis and action loop, right? So you take a mock, analyze it, and then take action based on it. That loop you'll have to keep doing. And you can replace mock with any test. It can be a benchmarking test, it can be a section test, it can be a module test. I take a test, I figure out what mistakes I'm making, and then I take action based on that. So, okay, now I've taken a test. I realize I'm very bad at parajumbles. I have done miserably. Now what do I do? So I solve 20-25 parajumbles question, critically analyze my performance before I come and take the next test, right? So that's the approach that you'll have to have. One very important thing, thinking is not action. So a lot of students who call themselves average, right, they will keep saying, oh, I'm going to study, I'm planning to do this, I'm going to do that, and things like that. A lot of times they don't end up doing it. So thinking is not equal to action. So just if you keep thinking about a problem, right, you'll just waste time. But if you decide that, okay, this is what my decision is and this is what I'm going to do, and you act on it, that will help you. So rather than me saying, oh, I'm going to solve 50 questions of Quant before I do my next mock, but I don't do those 50 questions, what do you think is going to happen with the outcome? It's going to be similar. And then I will keep blaming a lot of other things, maybe my school marks or my school teacher, my college teacher, my class teacher. I will keep blaming a lot of people just because I am not putting effort, right? Finally, more hours is not equal to more improvement. So just because somebody is putting more hours doesn't mean that that person will get a better score. So that is why you have to be critical about and very particular about your approach towards preparation. That I don't have to do everything. So somebody who is not very, very good at mathematics, right? Or say DLR or VRC, you will have to figure out that, okay, these are the things that I can pick up and do very, very well. These are the things where I'm okayish, and these are the things that on the test day, I'm not going to touch. Can I solve them? The answer is yes, but I will still not jump into solving them at the first glance, because I know that, okay, this is a C category question and I'm not good at it. So why jump into that? Okay. So create an environment that helps learning or growth. And that includes a lot of things. So there's this saying, right, that you are average of 5 people that you spend the most time with. If you are going to surround yourself with people who are all negative, so all your friends, if all of you hate maths, suddenly you will not start loving maths. Okay. But even if you have, let's say, somebody who, let's say, pushes you in that direction, that, okay, hey, you can get better, you will start walking in that direction. But otherwise, you will remain stagnant, or the worst case is that you will basically deteriorate from there. So create an environment that helps learning or growth, right? Even, let's say, for example, switching off your phone, switching off your laptop if you're studying, avoiding all distractions, deciding that, okay, this is not priority for now and study is the priority. All of those things also matter. So if you just keep thinking about it, it's not going to happen. So you'll have to actually act on it and create that environment which will help you to do that. Then comes very importantly for such students, right, especially who belong to this category, I would say the role of guidance is very important, because what has happened is in the past, maybe you didn't have that. And because of that, you are now in this particular situation. So direction, what it does is that it saves time and effort. So if I tell you exactly what you're supposed to do, right, it is basically optimizing your preparation, that, hey, this is what I'm going to do, this is how much time I'm going to spend, and this is the result that I'm going to get. I don't really have to jump around and figure out, okay, this is what I have to do, or if I do that, I might end up wasting time as well, correct? So a lot of people, for example, for CAT, should you do word power made easy? Right? Should you not? Now, there's no right answer to that question. If you have a lot of time, let's say you're starting with 1.5 years to go for CAT, word power made easy is a decent thing to do. But if you're starting with 6 months to go or 3 months to go, should you be doing word power made easy? The answer is no, you shouldn't. Because firstly, it takes a lot of time to get better at vocab. Secondly, is CAT explicitly testing your vocab? The answer is no. So that direction, that guidance, all of these small things, just word power made easy, just an example. But there are so many things with each of the sections, question types, and topics wherein you will need some inputs from mentor. You end up avoiding random preparation. Otherwise, you are all over the place. You are trying to do each and everything that you come across. But as we saw on the previous slide as well, more efforts or more hours that you put doesn't mean that you're going to have better score. You'll be able to learn what to skip. That's one of the key things that you need to crack the CAT, that I have to know what is it that I should not be doing in that particular paper. So what are the C category questions? I should be able to identify them, and that will only happen with practice and guidance. Mentorship accelerates growth. It will help you to go from one level to the next level in a much faster manner. You will not have a lot of trouble doing that. And finally, I would say, if you think of it, right, everybody in the world, you take sports or you take anything, the best in their field have coaches. You think of any sports, for example, right? So chess, for example. So all chess players, are they good? The answer is yes. Obviously, they've played so many games in their life. Do they still need coaches? The answer is yes, because they know that there are things that they still don't know, and they can improve on. They need help in analyzing their performance and all of that. So you take any sports and you're going to find this to be true. So my closing thoughts on this whole thing, right? Firstly, get rid of the average label. The moment you decide that, okay, from today, I am not going to call myself average. I am a person who is on a particular spectrum and I can get better. I can move in the positive direction on this particular spectrum. So that is what you need to have. No matter what my skills are at this point of time, I can always get better. Secondly, most students don't do well because they stop trying, right? As I spoke about mindset, growth mindset versus fixed mindset. The moment I have fixed mindset that, okay, this is who I am and that's the end of it, there's no progress. But the moment I say, hey, I have a growth mindset, I can get better, you will start working in that direction. So don't stop trying. You're not going to get success on day one, correct? So if let's say for all your life you have called yourself average in Quant, now I teach you something for the next 2 hours, suddenly tomorrow your skills are not going to get better. But if you keep practicing that, if you keep revising what you have done, if you keep solving a lot of questions, at some point of time you will get faster at it, right? Again, just taking one simple example, think of how do you calculate 98 square. There are so many ways in which you can do it. But when you were in school, you were taught the basic method, which is 98 into 98, correct? You can do that. I can also do a minus b the whole square by putting values as 102. Can I do a plus b the whole square? Yes, you can do 90 plus 8. But is this a great way to go about it? The answer is no, because of the values that are involved. Can I do 95 plus 3 square? I can do that also. But again, great method? No. But there is a shortcut, right? Because it is closer to 100. So you have two difference and you square that difference that goes at the end, the last two digits. So that becomes 04. And 98 minus 2 is 96. So 9604. This is a journey from that first thing where you know 98 into 98. And even before that, knowing what a square is, that it is a number multiplied by itself. It's a journey that you take. The longer that journey is, in the sense that the more you progress in that journey, the faster you're going to get. So that is the thought process that you should have, that, okay, if I stop trying, this thing is not going to happen. But if I keep trying, I'll reach a situation where I'm really good at something. So you need to be consistent, aware, and intentional. Consistent is somebody who is putting in effort every single day. Aware is knowing what to do and what not to do. And intentional, that having that exact intent that, okay, this is why I'm doing this. So if you know all of this, if you are consistent, aware, and intentional, then no matter where you stand at this point of time, maybe you're average, below average, slightly above average, but not at the top, you will still be able to go to the next level. And finally, building those systems and processes, right? Because motivation is not going to carry you in this journey, right? So you'll have to have these systems and processes which will enable you to become a better test taker, right? Or somebody who is good at doing well on the competitive exam space. So that's going to be the end of it. I hope this video has helped you. Kind of got a little bit philosophical at some places, but see, that's the whole point, right? Because it's a label, right? So please don't label yourself and stop doing that. That's the only way to get better. So have a growth mindset, and I'm sure all of you will be able to get better compared to where you are at this point of time. The more effort you put in, and the more intentional effort you put in, you will have a better outcome at the end of CAT or any other exam for that matter. So I wish all of you all the best. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you soon in the next video. And if you haven't subscribed to our channel, do it right away. As I mentioned, the importance of guidance. If you need any counseling, if you need any help, you want to discuss something, let us know. We do free one-on-one counseling, so you can book it via the website. So happy to help in whatever way possible. Thank you so much for watching. See you soon. Bye. Take care.